was the priest classmaster. Guess what he did? Good morning, one and all, and welcome to the TDP. You wonderful people, we're back. We're trying to get some time. Christmas is a ridiculously busy time for all of us. So, you know, this is the way it goes sometimes. Now, what I want to do today is, although I'm playing a DK, as we are wrapped for time, I'm literally doing drama time in about an hour. I wanted to tell you guys a story about Classic, but it's basically the answer to the question that I get often asked is, why not a rogue for Classic? So it got me thinking about why not a rogue, because the second character I ever made in Classic, beyond my priest, was a rogue, and the reason is pretty simple. It's the reason most people want to roll a rogue, right? And that is because every now and again you'd hear that sound, that and you were dead, because you could be stun locked to absolute death inside of stun by a rogue. And some rogues could stun you indefinitely. If they were good and they could track things, you could be stunned indefinitely and you would be killed, and everybody wanted that. Who wouldn't want that, man? Who wouldn't want that? So, of course, I got to leveling my rogue. It's the rogue I still have. His original name, are you ready for the edginess, was Scythe. Yeah, he was called Scythe, first of all. And my boy Scythe was my ganker. You might recall, and I'll put a little clip in here while we run up the stairs, of the journey we took into Ironforge, thinking we were super badass doing ganking in Ironforge. And basically we'd attack things, and then a few minutes later we'd wait for Vanish to come back, and then we'd rock and roll and do something else. That was about the limit of Scythe's DPS domination, if we could call it that. And it then came time to raid. All right, now I need to give some context to this story, otherwise it won't make any goddamn sense. But I was a member of a pretty shitty guild at the end of vanilla. You might remember I did some bad things to my guild, and then I joined a different guild for not very long. I wasn't there very long because I didn't realize at the time, and something many of you will be like, yeah, it's always like that, preacher, about bad guilds. I didn't really know about bad guilds, if I'm being honest with you. And the reason for that is my guild experience all the way through Classic was actually luckily really good. I joined up with guilds that were bunches of friends, essentially. And those guys always treated each other well, and they treated trials well, and it was never a big deal. Hold on. Let me get control. I am with my guild, by the way. I'll show gear and stuff at the end. I will remember. But this is with the guild. They were like, can you tank for us? I'm like, I wanted to record on my rogue for this story. They're like, yeah, we really need a tank. I'm like, okay. Okay, then. I suppose we can do that. So I joined this guild. I'm not naming names, but this guild was a bad guild. And what I say by a bad guild, to give it some context, was that this guild treated trials very badly, but also members very badly, which I found really weird. And I still, to this day, they treated their members terribly. So there was a core team of officers who were practically best buds, but not really. They thought they were best buds, but essentially it was the guild master and his wife. Yeah, it was a husband-wife guild. Ho, 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 ho. I know, right? It was essentially a husband-wife guild. What is this? Level 16? Okay. And they were tyrannical. They were real bastards. Absolute motherfuckers. Especially the guild master, who played a rogue. And he had a policy. So I'm going to give you this policy, and it'll make sense why this happened to me. This policy was to allow the guild master to have free reign on any loot he wanted on any character he had, because he was the guild master. Let that sink in for a second. That was the policy. That was the policy. It was pretty goddamn painful. Pretty goddamn painful, to say the least. It was how they'd always run the guild. It was what they were all about. And for them, it was fine. For them, it was fine. Because after he had taken whatever he wanted for his alts and etc., he was then passing loot directly to officers. And basically the idea was, the way they justified it, was that the officers are doing so much for the guild that they deserved special privileges. Like, without question, they deserved a lot of special privileges. And so they were given them. And it also backed up the guild master's idea of being able to take wherever he wanted. So let me give some context. So this guy played an awful lot. A hell of a lot. And he had pretty much every class in Classic capped. Which is a bit of a mean feat. If you don't realize that, that's a pretty mean feat to do. And he would say, let's say we were doing... They were a good guild. So let's say we were doing Molten Core. He would decide, okay, well, I'm coming on my Shaman, for example. And his Shaman would take anything it wanted, even versus member Shamans. He had the full right to take whatever he wanted. And then, of course, the officers had a similar sort of thing going on with it. Am I stuck? Great. Now, what this translated into was a very weird time for me as a trial to try and adapt to this. Because I'd never seen anything like this. I'd never even heard of this kind of stuff in any guild happening that way. And so, when I got in there, I had to prove myself, as we all do, when we join a new guild. And then it got to the point where I didn't want to play Priest for them. Like, I was still playing my Priest at the time, purely to sort of get my friends into guilds. Because as a Holy Priest, I had a lot of sway with guilds. Priest was so in demand that it was pretty easy for me to demand things like raid spots for other people. So when I joined this guild, they wanted me, not because I was me, but because I was a Holy Priest. I had some reputation in vanilla, but they wanted a Holy Priest. And so I brought a Warrior and a Warlock with me, and that was the deal. I came as a package deal. Which it was pretty normal at the time, honestly. You probably see things like this happen now, even. And so, when I joined, I was already on the kind of outs with playing my... I was on the outs with playing my Priest already. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't enjoying it at all, really. But it was getting us a lot of power and a lot of gains, and it was making my friends very happy, which, as you can imagine, is quite a big deal to quite a lot of people, is to make your friends happy. Keeping them sweet is a good thing. Is a very good thing. And I didn't want to play a Priest, but I had this rogue, and I capped this rogue. It was ready to go. So what I decided to do was try and get my rogue into alt runs. Right, that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to get my rogue into alt runs, and then, on the back of that, switch over to my rogue whenever I was in the right frame of mind, let's say. And this gave me great opportunities. So I was just making sure they were in line of sight. This gave me a lot of excitement. Really good, because I was loving my rogue, leveling it. I was really loving my rogue. Then it came to actually doing it. So this alt run did happen, and this is the story of the first and only raid I ever did on my rogue in Classic WoW. So it's a Molten Core run. I've been in the guild for a while now, and I'm sort of getting the idea of what this bunch of people is all about, right? They're arseholes. These are real terrible bastard people. I don't like them. I'm not happy. But this is what it's going to be. So what so in this alt run, I came in on my rogue, and people were already bitching at me, particularly the Priest Classmaster, who was a super cunt. Super ignorant cunt. Real total bastard. And he was the one who was adamant that I played my Priest. He wasn't playing his Priest, by the way. He wasn't playing his Priest, but ended up coming on his Priest. Now, I didn't know why. I said, dude, I'm not coming to Molten Core on my Priest, right? It's not happening. There's no way I'm doing that. And so he was like, okay. And then suddenly he logged off. I think it was a Shaman. He logged off his Shaman, and lo and behold, he comes on his fucking Priest. I'm like, why is he coming on his Priest? And then I'm thinking he's trying to make me feel bad. is what's happening. He's trying to make me feel bad. And I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad. Fuck that guy. He's a douche. I'm not going to feel bad in any way, shape, or form. And it started from there. So we get underway, and I wasn't getting any gear, which was a real fucking pain in the ass. I was getting nothing. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm going to take one, but that's okay. And off we went on our merry way. To have our good time. We were on our merry way. So we killed the first few bosses, and the first thing I started to notice is, this is the big part of it, I didn't like raiding on a rogue. It was very, very different to what I thought it was going to be. Really different, actually. It was super slow. It was really irritating. And I got really pissy with it very quickly. I thought it was going to be like very aggressive, because I'd always watched the rogues, obviously. I'd always watch the rogues with envious eyes. You know when you look at another class that's like popping off and doing all this mad damage or whatever, certainly when you're new to the game and you see them like, oh, these guys are awesome, these are so good. And that was me, but I did a couple of bosses and I'm like, shit, right? It's just like keep slice the dice up. I was whispering people, I was trying to find out what's going on, and I was like, okay, this is how we do damage. My damage was fine, but what I was actually doing to do the damage, that was not fine. Didn't like that at all. So I was getting tired of it, but I wanted something. You ever wanted an item real bad? I really, really wanted something. And that was the Core Hound Tooth. It was reasonably, like, I had good gear from AQ20. I gotta say, I had done like AQ20 here and stuff like that. But it was really the, what I really, really wanted was the Core Hound Tooth. I wanted it very badly. Very, very badly. And I was pretty determined to get it because, of course, as you do if you're after a particular item, is you check. What does everybody else have, right? What does everybody else have? Is what I really want to know. Like, am I going to get it? And I was going to get it. I was going to get it. I was on top form to get it. I really was. Which made me super happy. So I was like, oh, I just have to wait and see if it drops. That's all I need to do at this point, is just wait and see if it drops. And when it does drop, oh, that's going to be popping, dude. I'm definitely going to get it. So off we went. We're clearing Molten Core, but I was definitely not happy with the rogue in general. So the next stop is getting to, I think, I'm sorry, my memory's a bit faulty here. It either gets to, Core Hound Tooth, I think, is Ragnaros. It was either Ragnaros or Domo. It's one of the last bosses. This whisper comes my way. And I'm like, this can't be happening. And it's from the Priest Classmaster. And he's like, okay, these are the harder bosses now. We need you to switch to your Priest. And I'm like, what? And I was still a trial. I'm like, you need me to... Why? Like, there's clearly no reason I need to switch to my Priest. Like, there was no justifiable reason. You might say, well, maybe you needed more healing. No, we didn't need more healing. It was pretty obvious they wanted me out of the raid at this point. And I started to think, it's because I've said, I want something in particular. And that was my mistake. I told them what I wanted, right? And now they were going to get me for it. I was salty. I was salty. And I was like, I tried to, like, get out of it. I was like, I don't think we need the healing, guys. At all. And they were like, yeah, we want the healing. So you're going to have to switch. I was like, what the fuck? This can't be happening. This cannot be happening. But it was happening. Oh, yeah. It was happening. And it was happening right there, right then. So, there I was, and I had to switch it. I had to switch it, and they forced me to do it, and I was like... In some ways, I was, like, salty, but in another way, I didn't want to play my rogue anymore. So it's a weird place to be. Like, out of stubbornness, I wanted to stay, because I knew I was being swapped out to ensure that I didn't get what I wanted. That was the only reason why. There was no justifiable reason for it other than that. And so the next step, of course, as I switched to my priest, got summoned, the whole fucking shabazz, was the priest classmaster. Guess what he did? Logs off just as we're about to pull the boss. I'm not even joking. Just as we're about to pull the boss, he logs off. And logs onto his fucking rogue. This is my first ever real raid with these guys. Logs onto his fucking rogue. And you can only imagine, like, even though you guys just listened to it and are like, I can't believe that. I'm like, it happened. It happened. And then he got summoned. I think it was Raggy. Andy!
Yes, mate.
Where does the core hound tooth drop? It's Raggy, isn't it? I can't remember either. And it fucking dropped. Now, the important thing here was that he already had better. And there was a rogue in the guild who I'd already spoke to who didn't want the core hound tooth because he was playing combat swords, but it was certainly an upgrade for him. So he said, well, I'll take it because I might get another dagger that goes with it. There was a really nice AQ20 dagger that paired up really nicely. And lo and fucking behold, they pulled the officer card. If you can fucking believe it, they pulled the officer card and went, oh, he needs it. I'm trying not to say his name, but oh, he wants it, so you're not getting it. And I watched it all unfold in front of me in the space of about 20 minutes or something like this. This all happened when I really understood, like, the cruelty of this guild and how fucking selfish and bastards these guys were. And I walked away from that and I left the guild shortly after because I was like, these guys are fucking awful people. Like the absolute worst. These are like the absolute worst people. But it gets worse than that. So that was my rogue story. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it, which is a big thing. I didn't enjoy it in the first place. But that was my first experience raiding with my rogue. And after that, I kind of never played it again, I don't think. I don't think I ever touched it again. Once I really got the feel of it, I didn't really like it. But some other stories for this guild then. The first realization I had that this guild was different was a Zullerman run. And I've got to say something, like, I had never been in the presence before I joined this guild of somebody who was like in full tier 2 or even in decent AQ gear with mega weapons. And I was in awe when I saw our guild master, because our guild master had a lot of AQ gear, nearly a full set, and Thunder Fury and the dragons, the Nightmare and Gulf Blades. He looked like a fucking hero, right? This guy looked like he was an absolute fucking monster. And he did damage like he was a fucking monster. And I was envious and jealous of this guy. I was like, this guy's like a fucking god. You know? This guy's like a fucking god. And then I saw him log his shaman halfway through Blackwing Lair when we had a trial shaman and just take all this guy's loot for himself. And the question was raised by the trial. Like, the trial wasn't a shy bastard or anything like that. He goes, what's going on? Why would your alt take it over somebody who's going to be in your main raids? And that was when I heard, it's like, well, we're not 100% sure you're going to be in the main raids yet because you're still a trial. And we always have blah, blah, blah guildmaster have his alts ready in case we need to fill a spot. And I was like, what the fuck? What is that? So, and then I want to point out here, in a real raid that wasn't like an alt scrub raid, he never played anything other than his rogue. Not a single fucking time. And I was there for a few months. I was there for a few months, and not once did I ever see that happen. Did this mystery process come into play, and it became a bit of a joke amongst me and my friends. It became a little bit of a joke, and we found it kind of funny because at this point, I really didn't care anymore. Like, it's when you're in that environment, you stop caring so hard. Like, your ability to give a shit really fucking pops off. it just disappears. And I absolutely stopped caring about anything at all. God, this guy has so much HP on 16. Well, with Tyrannical. For those of you who are M+ dudes, this is a very high dungeon. And it's Tyrannical, which means the bosses are doing considerably more than they ordinarily do. Where's he going? Okay, I gotta bring him here, maybe? It's like no good place to put this guy. There we go. Lewitz! 945. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Cape of the Dustwatch? Ooh, no. I don't think so. Oh, let's see. No. Alright, boys, thank you. That was my experience with, and that's why. But I wouldn't never roll a road because actually, when it comes to PvE, which I enjoy, they're terrible. I think so. I think they're awful. They get better. They definitely get better, but they're terrible. Like they're not as fun as certainly anything like we have today. Thank you so much for listening, team. I will see you again more regularly. I promise you. Bye bye.